Let's be real for a second. It feels like we're all living in a world that's just on fire, right? Every day, every single headline, every scroll through your feed, it's all demanding that you pick a side, and you gotta pick it now. There's just no room for nuance, no time to even ask a question. And honestly, it is exhausting. You know the feeling. You open your phone and bam, you were instantly caught in the crossfire between two sides just screaming at each other. It feels like every single issue is a battlefield, and you're just expected to sign up for an army without even getting to read the terms and conditions.
And the pressure is so intense. Questioning the official story isn't just seen as being curious anymore. Nope, now it's treated like you're betraying your team. It's either you're with us or you're against us, and just asking, hey, wait a minute, can you explain that, can get you labeled and totally shut down.
But what if you could just step out of that crossfire? What if you had a tool that let you see the actual architecture of an argument without getting emotionally hijacked by the whole thing? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into here. So, let's be super clear about our goal. We are not here to give you a new ideology or tell you what to believe. This is not about trading one set of prepackaged answers for another. The whole point is to give you a simple, practical, and totally neutral tool for your own mind. The best way to think about it is like a mental gym. It's a workout for your perception. And by doing these mental reps over and over, you start to build this habit of seeing what's really going on underneath the surface of some supercharged story. So what is this amazing tool? It's actually incredibly simple. Think of it like a flashlight that you can carry with you into the blinding glare of any heated debate. It all comes down to two core questions that just help you cut right through all that emotional noise. Okay, so the first question is basically ancient wisdom. The Romans had a great phrase for it, cui bono, which literally means who benefits. This is just the modern version. Who gains or protects power, political, social, whatever. By framing the story in this exact way, it immediately makes you shift your focus from how the story makes you feel to the real incentives behind it. And the second question is just as crucial. As soon as you've got a sense of the power incentive, you ask, okay, so what's being left out or totally downplayed here? Because here's the thing. Any story that's designed to serve a power interest is, by definition, going to be incomplete. This question is your cue to start hunting for those missing pieces. All right, theory is great, but let's see how this flashlight actually works in the real world. We're going to take a recent, very emotional topic, campus protests surrounding armed conflicts. So you see a headline, and it labels all of these protests as anti-Semitism. Now, instead of just reacting emotionally, you pull out the tool. Step 1. Who gains power from framing it that way? Well, maybe a certain political policy gets protected from criticism. Then, step 2. What's being left out? Maybe the label is being used to cover up a real debate about the specific actions of a government. And that just illustrates the point perfectly. See, the tool doesn't tell you if the claim is true or false. It helps you see the function of the claim. Is that label being used to silence a debate? Is it being used as a shield for a policy? These questions help you look under the hood of the argument itself. So we have the tool, but that kind of begs the question, right? Why do we need it so badly? Why do stories seem to get so twisted in the first place? Well, it's not always about a few bad actors. There's a kind of hidden architecture at play. And it is absolutely crucial to understand that this pattern shows up everywhere. This is not a left-wing problem or a right-wing problem. It's a human systems problem. As soon as any idea gets big enough that it needs to protect itself, these same dynamics kick in, no matter what the ideology is. And it really breaks down into 3 main reasons this happens. First, you've got institutional survival. Organizations, could be churches, political parties, companies, they all use moral language to defend their turf. Second is psychological utility. For us as individuals, these simple stories act like emotional armor, making us feel safe and certain. And third, feedback amplification. Our modern social media world literally rewards outrage and emotional intensity over accuracy. This quote just nails the result of all that. Even the best, most well-intentioned ideas, as soon as they become part of a large group, get pulled into this game, where controlling the definitions and shutting down questions becomes way more important than actually having an open-ended conversation. Now let's build on that. Those 2 questions are incredibly powerful, but they're really only half the picture. To truly master this way of thinking, there's one more crucial step. Using the first two questions is a huge win. It gets you out of the immediate emotional firefight. But there's a trap. If you stop there, it's really easy to just become cynical and think, oh, everyone is lying, it's all about power. And that is not the goal. The real move, the part that turns this tool from just a simple shield into something that genuinely helps you grow your understanding, that's the third step.
And that step is this. You have to learn to sit with the gap. So once you've spotted the power play and you've noticed the missing piece, you just stop. You have to resist that powerful urge to immediately jump to a new, opposing conclusion. You just have to stay in that uncomfortable, uncertain space for a bit. Let the tension do its work.
This is the part that transforms the entire process. It's no longer about just deconstructing other people's narratives. It becomes about building your own mental capacity to tolerate complexity and ambiguity. And that, right there, is where real wisdom begins.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? If there's one single thing, it's that this whole framework is really about giving yourself permission.
This is the key. You should memorize the sentence. Say it to yourself. Asking a question does not mean you're a traitor. It doesn't mean you've joined the other team. It just means you're being an active, thinking person, not just a passive consumer of someone else's story.
So your new stance is pretty simple. First, your loyalty is to the questions themselves, not to any team. Next, when you feel yourself getting really angry or outraged by something you see, treat that feeling as a warning light on your dashboard. It's a signal that your emotions are probably being manipulated. And finally, you have to consciously separate your curiosity from your allegiance. They are not the same thing.
Look, this isn't about becoming a cynic or a conspiracy theorist. It's about becoming someone who feels free to think again. It's about reclaiming your own mind in a world that profits from keeping all of us constantly worked up. So, I'll just leave you with this. After hearing all this, what's the very first thing you're going to give yourself permission to question?